Hi there, this is John Drew from Elevated Planet. I want to talk to you today about extraterrestrials and the increasing sightings that have been evidenced over these last few years and indeed over the last few decades. What is the reason behind it? Why are we starting to see so much more activity out there? Well, it's all to do with the new Earth. For those of you who are familiar with that concept, the whole idea, as I have mentioned in previous Twiglet zones, is that the Earth is going through an upshift. It's moving from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And in order for us to join Gaia Mother Earth on the new fifth dimension, we have to raise our consciousness levels. We have to move out of the density of fear, of stress, of anger, of violence, of war, of judgment, of greed, of control. All those dense emotions that unfortunately have been way too prevalent on our planet for too long. We've also done a lot of damage to the planet, and the planet effectively needs repairing. So a lot of damage has been done. We're shifting to the new Earth. But in order to move to the new Earth, we have to change. We have to go from being stuck in fear and stress into that joy, love, celebration of life, compassion, kindness, all those high level, high frequency emotions, which, let's face it, who wouldn't choose that over the dense emotions, right? That's exactly where we want to live life, where we want to live our stress-free existence. Well, this is what the extraterrestrials are here to do. They're effectively like the midwife, seeing us through the rebirth process from the old Earth to the new Earth. They're here to help us. But in order to do that, they have to make themselves visible. Their civilizations are millions upon millions of years older than ours. They are so much more advanced than us. There is nothing to fear from them because they are approaching us in the spirit of love and service. They want to help us. But because they know this is not part of the standard reality of most people on this planet, they have to tread very carefully, because they don't want to create conflict, and they don't want to create a knee-jerk reaction where the leaders on planet Earth suddenly feel their sovereignty is being threatened, therefore we need to attack using national security and all that nonsense. All that would happen is if we turned our weapons on where we believe the extraterrestrials to be, they would make a dimensional shift. They'd still be here, but they'd be in a separate dimension. I know it sounds odd, but this is the Twiglet zone after all. Now, another point that is worth bringing to the surface, I think is a good way to put it. There has been a subterranean civilization living within the Earth since the days of the Atlantis cataclysm. What happened during the cataclysm is that there was a massive shift. The Earth shifted on its axis. There were tidal waves 6 miles high. There was much destruction. Atlantis itself, which was based in the Atlantic Ocean, more towards the Americas as we have them today, albeit it was a massive civilization, so it covered much of the world in various places. That city sank 3 to 4 miles beneath the surface of the ocean, and much life was lost, naturally. Now, there were those that could see this coming because this was a homemade catastrophe by the Atlanteans. Those who could see it coming, they shifted in two directions. One was using their aircraft that they had in those day and age, and they were way ahead of where we were because they have 12 strands of DNA relative to our strands. We've been dumbed down, as I've said in previous Twiglet zones. So they were far more advanced. They had far more advanced materials. They didn't use to burn fossil fuels the way we burn fossil fuels. They had as much energy as they could possibly ever use. So some escaped by air, and some entered into the chasms that opened in the Earth during the time of the cataclysm, and they were able to escape into the caverns and live underground. Now that sounds crazy. Why would you continue to live underground? You would just wait for it to settle and then come back to the surface. The Atlanteans were down there. There are beautiful areas within the Earth itself which are fully sustaining of life. And these are very intelligent beings. They're way more advanced than us on the surface because they had the wisdom of the Atlanteans, who had so much more knowledge than we do today. So this subterranean civilization that's been around for many, many thousands of years have advanced themselves to a point where they can be very helpful to the surface dwellers, but they've never come back to the surface yet because They didn't want to get caught up in the dramas and the conflict and the negative emotions that exist on planet Earth. As a result, they kept themselves where they were. They lived in harmony with the Earth. But they've also been in touch with the extraterrestrials, so they never lost that contact. They know their place in the universe. It's us surface dwellers who didn't realize that necessarily. We thought we were here on our own. Now, they're coming to the surface because they have much knowledge that will help us in the rebuilding of the new Earth, which is going to happen. It's already in process. We know the upshift is happening from the third dimension to the fifth dimension, and we want to travel with it. So therefore, we have to upshift ourselves out of all those dense negative emotions that drag this planet down and back towards joy, love, celebration of life, and all those beautiful things like that. And who wouldn't choose that? And that's what awaits us. Once we're into those higher vibration energies, that helps us to elevate along with the planet from the third dimension to the fifth dimension. And life on the new planet is going to be amazing. But these underground dwellers, when they come to the surface, they're going to offer their knowledge that will help to elevate this planet and rebuild this planet into something exceptionally special. The time has come for us to raise our frequencies to be more in line with where planet Earth is going and more in line with where our galactic cousins and subterranean cousins from the Earth, we can all join together in harmony to create this beautiful, beautiful planet that we are going to live on in future. No more pollution, no more conflict, no more wars. It is going to be a beautiful place to be. This is my version of reality. I fully accept the fact that for many people out there, this will be too far beyond for them to accept. In fact, you may regard it as deluded nonsense, in which case you would score 5 on the deludedometer. Everybody has their version of reality, but I do ask you to vote. Click on the survey of the deludedometer and please send your feedback so we can understand. This is John Drew for the Twiglet Zone at Elevated Planet, wishing you love and light.